quite welcome to visit the east side, pick up a helmet at the box, wander around, read whatever you want, come out when you want. Stipulation is that the council say you must wear helmets in there, and as you go through you'll see some of the ceiling where it's been what we call spray cemented. Cement's been sprayed onto the ceiling. The damp's been getting in behind it, it's there already, but it's been affecting the sand and the cement, and the cement is flaking. So a few bits have been falling. The council say safety reasons, please wear helmets. A few other safety points as we go through. The floor's a bit uneven in places. There's a few slopes and a few steps. One low spot. If you're very small, it won't matter. If you're very tall, duck your head. If you've got any questions as we go through, please ask. And I'm Ray. If you'd like to follow me through here. Period onwards, it's had various uses. Early 1900s, a cycle club moved in, and they used to ride their bikes up and down here. Sometime after that, or before that actually, we used to have a local band in here. As we go down here in a moment, you'll see blocked off passages on the right hand side. Years ago we could go through, but to this day we can't because all the roof above has collapsed. We can't go through, but we can go round, so we can show you this side and we can show you the other side. Say after the cycle club packed up, a rifle club took over, and to this day the rifle club still use the mine system. We're at one end of the rifle range, and you can see at the far end where there's target areas. We'll show you that when we get down in a moment. The sand that they used to dig out of here, one other thing is that we call them Reigate cave days, or caves are open in Reigate. They're not caves. It's the only lie we tell you. The rest of it, as far as we know, is correct and true. But they're not caves, they're mines. And there is a difference. These are man-made. And this is a sand mine, and it basically all carved out for the sand. The sand was used for making sandpaper, glass, sold to the publicans, used for cleaning purposes, used to make the hourglasses out of it for timing purposes. Probably a lot of other uses that we don't know of. As we go through, you'll see a lot of black deposits on the walls and the roof. Now that is like a black fungi, and it's caused from the cordite from the rifles or the bullets that they're shooting in here, and all the hot air that from when we're breathing in and out, and it causes a bit of fungus. It's not everywhere in here, it's only certain places, mainly where the ranges are. Okay, let's go down to the bottom, below us and all around us. But to this day the rifle club use this twice a week, I think, on one of their activities. But bearing in mind the amount of sand that is all around us, the rifle club has to buy sand to bring in here. Silly really. But behind that young man with the floodlight, you'll see the sand in the corner behind the numbers. It's a different colour to what's around us. And the reason for that is it's a heavier sand which absorbs the bullets. And it's a stipulation from the council that if they wish to fire their rifles in here, they must use that type of sand to absorb the lead shot that goes in, more so than the soft stuff which is around us. This is, as I say, it's more like a silver sand. It is so fine it just wouldn't hold them. Well, it hold them because they're not going anywhere beyond there. But I suppose if they bounce back again, that stuff absorbs them. So twice a year they have to get a couple of lorry loads of sand down here, some here and some in another part of the mine. Behind us, over the back here, where it's bricked up, behind there is a load more passages that go from here right the way up to the end, which is basically up where the roadway is, and it goes all the way over there and they go all the way back to the shops. To this day, I won't say we can't get in here, yes we can, but it's not open to the public. It's only certain times club members can get in there for surveying, investigations to see whether it's still safe, whether anything's collapsed or whatever. But years ago when we didn't know the extent of that, there was a breakthrough into here, and exploring the passages, further down was another bricked up area. And we thought, why is it bricked up? We didn't knock it down, but on a bit of surveying from the bricked up area to the end of the road and back again, we worked it out that roughly this bricked up area was behind one of the building societies in the town. So we said to the chap who was in charge, or manager or whoever it was, that we think we're somewhere in the back of your vault. And he didn't believe us, so we said, well, you go in the vault and listen, and give us 5 minutes and we'll bang on the wall at the back. Sure enough, he could hear us tapping away. So he's a bit concerned, so now it's all bricked up. So you can't go that way. I think he's moved his vault, he's safe anyway. As we came down, you may have noticed these alcoves that are all bricked up. And as I said, we can't go through anymore because behind here the passages are blocked. And these are where the band used to practice years ago, in these places. Now what is behind here is part of the council gardens which are above us. And if you live local and you have time to walk through the council grounds, you'll see all the sunken flower beds. Now prior to the flower beds being here, they do tell us that years ago there was a cricket pitch somewhere up there. That I don't know because I wasn't around, but they do say there used to be a cricket pitch here. They tell us that they were playing cricket, a storm broke, so they knocked off for a cup of tea, and when they came out after the storm, the cricket pitch had disappeared. What had happened was that this ground had dropped into the passages, cricket pitch, big hole, council come along, put flowers in it. So now it's the council flower beds. We've got half of them here. So, not that we want them, but they're still here. Okay, let's go to not so much for the bullets. Someone in one of the other groups said, an earthquake? I said, well, I think the ground subsided, but it subsided really because of water. And when it's raining, I usually get someone like you to come and stand there, and then say, look up there, and it drips down that pipe. So it's great fun because it drips on you and on me. So if you come over closer, you can still stand on that little hole. And we'll put this on, come over. If you hold the light, right, and look up there, and move the light so you can see up the tube. Yeah. It's about 50 foot to ground level. So, do you want to look? Come on in. So you might have to hold the light so it goes up because you're at a different angle to me. But you can see right the way up to the top. That's it. Give me another little look. Come on in. Oh, another one here. Long way up in it. We could probably get you through that pipe. Can you see up there, young man?
Yeah. It's at the upper end of that tube.
Oh, right, okay. Good. It's a ventilation pipe which goes up to the side of the footpath that comes through the castle grounds. The next time you're walking through the path, look out for a concrete slab.
It only comes here.
That's below it. It goes uphill. You'll come downhill. So all the time we're getting deeper below ground. Where the light is one of the original entrances. Well, I say original, it was possibly, might be another entrance during the last war, which is now bricked up. Some of the other uses of the mine, apart from the material they got out, they were used during the First World War as a storage place for ammunition and explosives, which was surplus from Woolwich Arsenal. Somebody knew of all the passages and tunnels here, so they thought we'd store it all under Reigate. I don't think they told the local residents, but that's where it was put down there. Second World War came along. By that time they'd used all the ammunition up and everything else, so they turned it into air raid shelters. So used as air raid shelters, they had a medical centre down here, possibly a few other things that we're not quite sure about. But that's it. From where I'm standing, you can still see some of the recesses here, and I don't want to blind you with this light, but if you look down there where the light is going there, the little white spots in the wall, you'll get a better view when we go down in a minute, is where the framework for the beds used to be, the bunk beds. So they had the wooden frame in here, and there was framework all the way down here, they tell us, and people would sleep both sides of the passages. Rather damp atmosphere. Minor steps coming down. The steps here, as you can see, used to level out the bedding as well, so they would have had the framework into these. Two ways out. So that if one entrance gets blocked, you've also got another way to get out. Where we are at the moment would have been the original stairway, which was put here during the last war for the public to come in and out. If you watch the light, you see a little hole in the wall there, another little hole there. So along here would have been wooden steps. Wooden steps coming up to this point. A wooden platform across there and here. Steps coming up to there. And then another platform through here. And the steps going right the way up the tunnel road. If you wish to come and have a look, be my guest. Original handrail still in situ. Stairs have obviously rotted away, apart from that little bit at the top. So we're something like about 40-50 foot here below Tunnel Road, and other places we're a lot deeper below ground because of the ground above we're coming up. Okay. Just open spaces in the system. As far as we know, we haven't found anyone yet that was, in fact on one of the other groups, someone said I was down here during the last war. If you've been with me, I'd have pumped him a little bit more for information, because what we get from people like that all adds to the knowledge that we can gain. But this one of the largest areas in the system, and as far as we know, it was like a communal meeting place where possibly people would come down in the evening. There would have been bench seats or something along here, and where we've got this flat area on the wall may have been a backdrop for a cinema screen. So they would have been here watching films in the evening. Over the years it's been used as a graffiti board sort of thing, so there's lots of bits and pieces. In the middle you've got quite a good sketch of Sir Adolf Hitler. And when you look at it you can see that it's him. The other thing about this here is the workmanship of the miners. And when you look around in a moment, what I'm going to show you, this is a support pillar here. Just here is another one. Another one there, another one here, and another one here. As long as they stay there, the roof will stay up. Somebody said earlier how safe are the miners. Again, when you look at this, the workmanship of the miners, put the light on. Okay, you see the joint here, the curve, where the roof meets the wall. It curves down there. This one comes down, it meets here, and you can find they join up here, there. So there's a bit of craftsman's work there. The miners knew exactly how much they could take out, how much they could leave to like support pillars to hold up the roof. So as I say, the amount of years I've been coming in and out there, and I've not known of anything falling. So as long as the sand stays damp, it will stay up. So craftsmanship. You'll see some more stuff as we go through. So they've got some corridors with the pillars in, very nice. Behind the gentleman with the floodlight here, you can see the target numbers, and you can see the sand again that the rifle club has to buy to bring in there. Different colour, heavier sand to absorb the bullets. The railway sleepers at the side. Occasionally people say, what are they there for? They're there to support the pillars, because being a soft sand, shooting the rifles with their iron through to the range, if they're a little bit off the course, they'll be shooting the pillars. You know what kids are. Go in, let's have a bit of pillar. One of the other things here that the mine owners, not so much in this one because it's pretty good, but a lot of the mines locally, the mine owners would say, let's have half of that pillar. Instead of digging the mine further, which was a lot of hard work going deeper into the hillside or wherever you, then bringing the material back to the entrance. They could nick some of the stuff near the entrance, all well and good. So they'd say, cut half that pillar off. And that's what we call pillar pinching. So the owners would be pinching the pillar. And it was obviously near the entrance, so it was cheaper to get it out. But what was happening there was, although they'd taken half the pillar, the roof was still the same. So the weight of the roof was coming down on these pillars and crushing them. And then we get what we call pressure flaking. It's when the side of the pillar starts cracking up. And when it starts cracking up, we know that that pillar is getting a little bit weak and a little bit small, and the weight above is getting too much for it. And eventually, the whole pillar is going to collapse, start treading on a drinks can, away goes the can, down comes the roof. Then we move on into a safe area. Okay, there's a few little bits and pieces on the wall, there's a few carvings over here that you may see. as we go through. Some of them, there's one here as well, date back many years. I didn't like to put an age to it, but it goes back possibly sometime during the last war, I can imagine. Because I don't think all that would have been there when they were using this, let's say, as a cinema area. Edit that bit out, yeah. Above us up in the castle grounds we've got Baron's Cave. And as we stand here, the group gets bigger and bigger. So as we go through the system, there's a few uneven places, steps, slopes, low roofs, holes in the floor. Please take care. Okay? There is a lot of history about these mines, although we call them caves, but they are mines, sand mines. There is a lot of history, but I'm sure you don't want to stand here for half an hour listening to all the past history about them. So we give you brief details of them, just to give you some idea of what's what. The mine was last worked for this commodity, which is sand. It's very fine stuff, so please don't rub the walls or carve your names or initials in them, because the stuff we've got on the wall at the back there, it's not really what we want. Old graffiti, yes, I can show you some, going back 100 years or so, which is good graffiti, but the new stuff, it makes a mess on the walls. And as someone did say earlier on that in 100 years' time that would be worth looking at, but at this day and age, we don't want to see it. So the mine was last worked about 1880, had a span of life about 30 or 40 years, and then they found that it just wasn't worth digging the sand out the way they were doing it in the first place, by hand. So after they closed the mine down, one of the local bands, and you've probably seen some photos outside of the band, or a band, in the caves, and they would operate down here on the right hand side, that's where the photos were taken, into the alcoves. There's all little recesses going down, like this one, and they're bricked up. And I'll tell you why they're bricked up when we get to the bottom of this passageway in a minute. But the bands used to operate from these alcoves, play their music. I should imagine it sounded quite nice. After the band, the cycle club moved in, and they used to ride their bikes all around the system for years, and then got fed up with that. And to this day, a rifle club use it. So we are at one end of one of the ranges, and there's 3 other ranges in the system. And they tell me twice a week they come in here with their 2.2 rifles. So the black stuff up here, there may be bits and pieces you see as we go through and think, well, what's that? Or, wonder what that was used for. The black stuff up there is a black fungi, and it's it's caused by us breathing in and out, and the mixture of the cordite from the rifle bullets that they're using. So the two are making this. So you'll find it in the areas where they're doing a lot of shooting. Obviously it will spread over the years, like most of the fungi. The sand they dug out of here, selling it locally, used to fetch about 6p a bag. I'm not quite sure how big the bags were, but it used to be 6p a bag locally, or if they took it to London, it was £1 a bag. Old money. It was used for making glass, making sandpaper, cleaning purposes. It was sold to the publicans to put on the floor to dry up the old spillages and things like that. There's probably a lot of other uses that we don't know of. So that's just some of them. Right, let's go down to the bottom. Okay, above us, below us and all around us, there must be millions of tons of sand. But the rifle club has to buy sand to bring in here. Sounds silly, but if you look where the numbers are at the back there, it's not too good an example, but you can see the difference in the colour of the sand. I'll show you a better one later on as we go through the system. But that's the stuff the rifle club has to buy to bring in. It's a heavier sand, more coarser, probably absorbs the bullets that they're shooting, because the natural sand that we've got here is a very fine sand, and there's the possibility, I suppose, the lead is going to bounce back somewhere. So stipulation from the council, so that's what they have to do. Twice a year they get a lorry load of sand down, top up that one and top up one over the back. As you came down, you all noticed obviously all these alcoves bricked up, as I said. There's a reason for that. That's so we don't dig behind there, because behind it it's blocked up. All these alcoves, if you broke the walls down, they're all blocked up. There used to be passages years ago going through to the other part of the mine. You can hear me okay, so
Yeah, I can,
okay,
yeah.
fine. We used to be able to go through, but owing to blockages, we can't. But we can get to the other side of the mine, but we have to go up here, left and left and left and all the way down. So that's another story. Years ago, there used to be, so they tell me, a cricket pitch somewhere up near the castle grounds, up above. And it was a stormy old day, and they decided to knock off for a cup of tea. They went into the clubhouse, and when they came back out again after it stopped raining, the cricket pitch had disappeared. If you live local and you walk through the castle grounds, you'll notice all the flower beds. We call them the sunken flower beds. And that originally, somewhere in that area, used to be the cricket pitch. Don't know where myself, I'm not local, but somewhere up there. And what happened was that with all the rain, somewhere along the line, a weak part of the mine had collapsed. Passages had collapsed. So if this roof was to come down to floor level, it would give us a nice big dip up above ground. So this is what's happened. As you go through, you see all these sunken holes, and that's the passages that have collapsed. So we've got part of the flower beds in here, and that's it. Right over the back here, where the other wall is, that's bricked up for a reason, so we can't make an easy entry into one of the building society, which is along the high street. Now from this point, right the way up to the road, and from here right over to the high street, there are tunnels in that whole section. No, quite a big area of tunnels. So, but it is bricked up now. The reason for that is years ago we made entry there, went through the system, found another bricked up area, and thought, what's this? But doing a bit of surveying at that stage, it worked out that it was behind one of the building societies in the high street. And when we told the manager that we thought we was right behind his vault, he didn't believe us. When he did hear us knocking on his back door, it's all been bricked up. So you can't have any money out of there. Okay, let's go on a little bit further. And if you walk through the footpath at some time, you'll see a little concrete support thing. It's about so high, with brickwork with a concrete slab on it. And that's the top of this. You used to be able to see daylight now. It's about 50 feet up from here. But say they're capping it now, so anyone else want to look? You guys want to have a look? Shine it right up the top. Yes, you can do. You get the light right.
Did you say is it for ventilation?
Yes, it is ventilation, yes.
Oh yeah, I can see it all. I can see a light. Someone's shining a light down.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last little girl with
See?
one quick look. Have a look. That's the thing on the football. Here, isn't it? You said we shine the light on it. Right, okay. Tell you in a minute. All right.
Can you see?
What we normally do, someone said, what is the actual hole in the floor? That's the first step one. What we normally do is say, come closer, right? Have a look up there, and when it's raining, water drips down there. Water drips down there, makes that little hole in the floor. So it's just water coming out. So, okay, up the slope. It's one of the original entrances, which is bricked up. A little bit further down is another one I'll show you in a moment. Apart from using the sand for various reasons, the mines were used as storage for ammunition.